welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll. And tonight I am joined by my very good friends. First of all, we have Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy. And we also have Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. Boys, for the first time in what feels like at least a month.
For the first time in forever.
We are all literally here together in the same room for the podcast.
It's been a while, man. It feels weird, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, how are you guys? You say you feel weird, so I was gonna say how you feeling. But...
Yeah, well, I feel weird because the month of February I traveled to 2 different places, and it was I don't do that normally. I was.
Yeah, you're not the guy that misses the pod.
I'm not the guy that misses the pod. I'm not the guy that I maybe caused recording to go an hour and a half late, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm that guy, but yeah, I normally don't travel as much, but new things happening. So yeah, there we go.
Shamato.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's getting a little claustrophobic in here. There's so many people.
When's the last time you saw Justin with your own eyes?
That's a good question.
I mean, it was at least 4 pods ago.
Ooh,
like because there were the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the last 2 for sure, and then I think I missed the one before that.
Yes, you did. Yep.
And so
he was
like
gone the one before that.
Yeah. So it's
wow.
been
We have not. Yeah, we're gonna do better, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for sticking it out with us. But we are finally back together. We did have Justin on the pods last week, thanks to our fancy new soundboard. No big deal. We are getting more and more official.
That's right. Yeah.
Year by year, we're getting there.
We may add a few tricks and segments.
Yeah, little wrinkles, couple wrinkles. Yeah. Right. But we're getting better, and we do want to just thank everyone for tuning in. Want to remind you to please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Leave us a review. That really helps. And sharing this podcast with your friends also helps tremendously. So, for example, tonight we are talking about Daredevil, Born Again. And if you have some friends who are also into Marvel, also into Daredevil, send this podcast to them. Helps us out a lot. Boys, let's do it. It is time for the spoiler warning. This is episode 3 of Daredevil, Born Again, which was titled The Hollow of His Hand.
There you go.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah, not bad at all.
Let's do it. Let's get it. Here's a spoiler warning, so everyone's been warned. How'd you guys feel about episode 3 overall?
Dude, solid. It was really good, man.
So, sorry, it's actually Law and Order Daredevil, Born Again.
Yes, which is what, I mean.
Pretty cool.
Why not get involved into what he actually is? Oh, wait, a lawyer. Yeah, let's do that.
It was a really cool courtroom experience. Essentially, the entire episode was set in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Which is something I don't believe we've really gotten from him. I mean, we've seen him in a courtroom. We've seen him do things, but it's usually at the most 5 minutes, 10 minutes in an episode. It's not really completely focused around the courtroom.
Yeah, we got to see him actually they were literally planning out their court procedures and opening and closing statements, and we saw the whole thing, the whole procedure.
Yes.
And I don't think we've seen that in the Daredevil series yet. Snippets here and there, him popping in and out.
Yeah, but a whole dedicated episode.
Yeah, no.
And the tension that was in the courtroom on multiple occasions.
Yes.
It was impressive the way they did it.
Yeah.
They handled it very well. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty sick. Let's see. Do we want to go chronologically or just? I mean, I guess talk about things you guys loved.
Well, I mean,
you want to be positive first or negative?
I'll be positive first.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
you're a really positive guy.
Honestly, there's not a lot of negative, to be honest with you.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Positive wise, Hector Ayala's performance, dude, the actor, Camar de los Reyes, he did a phenomenal job, man. And
even the tension line I just mentioned, that's what I mean.
Oh yeah, exactly, man. You could feel it. You could feel his movements, his looks, everything.
Yeah.
And it was so good. And I think watching this performance and then just knowing that he passed away is wow, he really left it all on the table, that kind of thing. It was inspiring. It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes me wonder I know it's reaching toward the end, but did they shift some of the writing, the ending of this episode because of that?
Interesting.
Were we supposed to get more of him?
Yeah, because they could have easily put anybody in a white tiger suit and walked him down a dark alley.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you could have always still had Hector.
So that's a good point.
Although it would be tough if they still had the white tiger and it was him.
Mm-hmm.
What his name is is it Hector is the actor, right?
No. The actor's Kamar.
Okay, great. So you would have wanted to see Hector.
Yes.
You really would have, and so like I guess they wouldn't have been able to pull that off. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I feel like I just wonder if it affected the writing at all. In their process,
Yeah.
They did some reshoots that just shift stuff around. Maybe he was supposed to be in a few more episodes, or maybe they were supposed to leave it more a little. Or maybe this was the last time you're supposed to see him for this season, and then
I did look it up. It said that he finished all of his production with Daredevil.
Okay.
Well, I'm more getting at maybe they added the extra scene at the end of this episode to
make it a statement, like powerful message.
Yeah, and then basically maybe they were leaving it open for him to show up in a later season of Daredevil, but they decided to
close that chapter.
Give this chapter a close now. And maybe that wasn't even him.
Okay.
In that final scene.
I have a feeling that wasn't him. Yeah, that's my theory. So I don't know.
It sure did leave for a moment, though. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy moment. And honestly, I guess my thing is my biggest. I don't want to say it's a negative, but Murdoch wins the case because he reveals the identity of the White Tiger.
Which this may have been my only negative thing.
But it's
essentially he killed him.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm really eager to see his reaction to the fact that he's dead.
It's gonna be
yeah.
It actually might be a similar reaction to season 2 of Daredevil when him and Punisher went toe to toe the first time. I think it's gonna be a very similar interaction.
Yeah, I mean he reveals Hector's the White Tiger's true identity. And he wins the case, and it turned the case, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But man,
what's
the cost?
Essentially, the idea is what would you have? You would have to put him in federal protective custody. I think essentially after that, if you wanted him to be able
get him out of New York.
Oh yeah. He's going to witness protection easily.
Yeah.
There would have to be something there, or because. Of course, the only problem with that would be is they would think, oh, these are all police officers. They're not going to be vengeful.
Yeah.
That's the idea of it. Was because they would be the people that would be vengeful in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is crazy though, maybe another negative, and okay, I gotta be more positive.
We were supposed to start. Yeah.
But a question I have is, it's never really revealed what Nikki Torres was doing down there, and the officers that one of them died and the other one, which by the way, I totally speculated that Daredevil killed those dudes at the end of episode 2, and I was totally wrong.
Yeah. I mean, the way he finishes them.
Yeah.
You're
dude.
that one dude. Literally, they make the snap sound.
Yes.
When he
smashes against the floor. Yeah.
When he finishes that guy off. It's
dude.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a reshoot.
I audibly said he should have been dead.
Yeah, dude. I seriously think so.
Yeah, I was legitimately I don't know. I really don't know how you get out of this corner for Murdoch. It's essential. I don't understand. Honestly, I will say it's one of the also negatives is I don't understand how he gets out of that corner in that room. In the sense of legally. Not physically.
I mean, Detective Hal, I think it was his name, or Powell or Hal, one of those two. He was doing illegal activity, so
that's what they show in the bathroom.
That's how Murdoch got out of that. He was like, "Well, I'm beating you up because you're doing illegal stuff."
He saw him in the bathroom at literally the courthouse.
It was the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were sparring over that. He's like,
but still, I feel like there would be something that they would.
Because what is he going to do? What is he going to tell the police force? Oh, I was randomly at a person of interest's place, and Murdoch was here for. Well, it didn't make any sense for him to say any of that. He would have been caught up in a lie or even crazier stuff. I don't know. It just didn't make any sense for him to be able to turn the tides against Murdoch.
I think it was just a standoff.
Yeah.
Really, they both knew they couldn't do anything.
Yeah. But it was funny, the line that he says in the bathroom. He's like, you can take those glasses off. You're not hiding anything, that kind of thing. Because he's like, you're blind and you can fight.
Yeah. Yeah, which dude, he freaking rocked them.
Which I wonder if in that moment if he almost doesn't believe that he's blind.
Yeah,
like more than him not believing that he's actually blind and can fight.
Yeah.
Like almost doesn't believe maybe that
blind,
he's
there's no way I can get beat that bad.
Yeah.
A really cool thing that happened in the opening scene where he's in the bathroom and he gets confronted by, we just talked about, right? He's looking in the mirror, but obviously he's blind, but we can see his hands and it's all like battered and tattered, right? But there's like the symmetry of like Wilson Fisk. We see him at his desk and his knuckles are going on. And I'm like, okay,
how'd that happen?
How did that happen? He's beating on somebody, or like, because there's no way he's staying cool, calm, and collected. Like he's portraying himself. He's got some side action going on.
You don't think he's got some healthy ways of taking out his anger?
Not with his hurting his like if all of a sudden they showed him like boxing or something, that would be fine. But the thing is, you don't get split like. I don't think you get.
I mean, you do if you are hitting the bag raw. If you're hitting the bag raw, you are.
He might be bare knuckle.
But that's the thing is like I don't think that would be what he'd be doing. Like I don't think they're not going to do that as his thing. That'll be a pretty lackluster reveal eventually if he's just working the bag barehanded. Like honestly,
dude, he needs to be.
Really, you think he'd be lackluster?
If he's working the back, if that's the reveal of why that's happening, yes.
But I think the reveal would be cool. Everyone's assuming he's beating someone up because he's Fisk.
Because he's a criminal.
Well, what I'm saying is he's actually changed.
He's bucking the narrative. Like he's like, no, I'm.
Yeah, this gets back to last week where it's like, we were talking about this. Are they going to turn him into more of an anti-hero? And it just feels like there's a little more of that in this episode. You know, everything with Vanessa, he wants to just be completely.
You know what's like similar vibes I'm getting from this is like in wrestling when a guy turns heel, right, and then they attempt to make the heel turn back. You're always doubting him. You're like, no, there's no way he's a face. He's no way he's a face again. There's like it's impossible.
Funny you say that. Big things happening lately.
Oh yeah. That's where I got inspired from. It, so. But yeah, so. I don't know. I think I'm with T-Roll on this one. I do think that it's going to be a big reveal of he actually is just working the bag, but he's doing it bare knuckle too because he wants that feel of when he was a criminal, when he was in the underworld. Like he wants that sensation of doing that.
I think he's self-aware enough to know he needs to get his frustration out, but he's trying to do it in a way that I mean,
this man's self-control is unreal.
Here's the thing. All the work he's done to be mayor, to let it slip away by assaulting or killing someone doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I could also see him like getting an empty bag and putting a person in it and then zipping it up. I can also see that.
I mean, that would be more of like what I would think of when I think of Wilson. Honestly,
yes,
that would be
right.
But I still think I'm with T-Roll on this one.
Yeah,
I'm saying, man.
I mean,
Team Fisk, bro.
I get what you're getting at there, but like I don't know. I feel like it would be a little bit of a downer to see him like it's just he's just punching a bag.
Yeah.
In that moment, of course.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't remember what I was going at before. We just went on a big chasing rabbits everywhere. But why don't we talk about Fisk in general then?
Yeah, dude. D'Onofrio, man, he's meant for this role. This Kingpin train. Like I want to stay on it for as long as possible. Mm-hmm. His presence is just unrivaled in this series. Like he's like overpowering this series. Like and I want more of the political, the mayor. Like I want it all in that world. And even the added wrinkle with the counseling with his wife, like that right there is even more intriguing for me too because of Wilson, the criminal kingpin, is more worried about keeping his marriage and his life together, and everything together, and that shows a lot of potential change.
Yeah, I think there's a lot there. It's just really interesting seeing him in this, the way his character is like moving at the moment. And you just like he's struggling with this, with the worlds that he is connected to. Like he's trying to be. It looks like he's trying to be a good mayor, but like he's getting pulled into the criminal world in so many different directions. Like, does he want? Like, how much does he want to go back into the criminal world? How much is it calling him like, and he wants it to be calling him, or is it calling him and he keeps on wanting to push it away? Like, we haven't gotten that quite answer as how it's working in his mind right now. We're kind of I think a lot of people are hoping it's more of like. He's trying keep his like demons at bay, kind of idea. Like he's trying to get that new leaf, and it's interesting because like his wife Vanessa is kind of working as like the devil on his shoulder in a lot of ways. She's like,
oh yeah,
like I want to be back. She's like, I want to be back in this.
Yeah,
like you should want to be back into this. Yeah. And like that kind of stuff.
He even rebukes her for like trying to pay off the other people with the 1.8 million that robbery gone wrong kind of thing. And he's literally like, why did you do that? Why did you go behind my back and do stuff like that?
Yeah. Which, by the way, that robbery, I feel bad for the driver.
Oh yeah.
He
told him straight up. He's like, don't try anything. Don't be a cowboy. Yeah,
I know. And like, literally, get the dude in the passenger seat gets himself killed, and his seemingly innocent buddy driving the truck. It's just wicked.
They're so nonchalant about it too. He's like, he just like, oh, you gonna hand me those keys? And and then
evening, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well, because that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. I mean, it's a very like
typical handoff.
It's a very typical like, it's a robbery, but it's like, in a way, it's almost like a gentleman's robbery. It's what it's supposed to be. Like if
they would have let them live.
Cooperate. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like you give up the truck. We let you survive. We take the product, and you get to continue to exist.
That's it. That's all it was.
But like, I do think you get to get that point of the driver. Like they give him this one like second of look after the first guy gets shot, and you're like,
blood all over his
like,
face.
He just knows. Like he just knows he's done. Like he's.
I know.
Like he just knows there's nothing he can do at that moment.
Terrible. So yeah, basically two different gangs are beefing at the what's it called? The Red Hook. Red Hook. Yeah. And so Fisk, it's interesting where he's like, let the rats kill each other.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
It's fascinating seeing him talk about that like that, right? But Vanessa is the one who, like you said, she sent Buck with a I guess like a bill for the one guy's gang to pay the other guy $1.8 million.
Yep.
As retribution. Crazy.
Dude, it was wild. And the fact that Vanessa says to Wilson, she's like, if you just show your face, like everyone will get in line. But he's like, no, it's not, like, let the rats eat themselves. Like he's
crazy. Like, and again, that's where it's like I think he's smart enough where he's like, I can't show my face.
Yep.
I'm like, to one extent, the person he's trying to almost win over the most is the police commissioner. Now he's bribing him to do so, but he is trying. Like, he needs the police behind his back. If it gets out that Fisk, the mayor, shows up at this criminal underground meeting, not a good look.
Well, then even when he's like, "Can you please persuade Commissioner Gallo to do it?" And then she's like, "I'll try." Like,
I'll try. Yeah.
The manager, whatever.
Which is, I don't know. I still think that was really interesting with the police commissioner, like, because I think it's actually very restrained what he did in the last episode. I feel like that was it tells you a lot about how far Kingpin has come, because it was actually a very restrained response.
Yeah, you said last week he in the previous Fisk would have had that kid tied up.
Yes, he would have had him tied up. He would have had him somewhere. He would have had him killed or something like that.
Right.
He would have done something along those lines. But he literally just a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And just showing how that can be just as effective as other means.
Now, theory time. So with this court case going the way of Hector, and Fisk coming out just on the BB report, right? He's just going in on vigilantes. Do you think that Gallo and the NYPD might come around to Fisk just on their own now, or do you think they're working that angle? Or
I mean, they're definitely working that angle. I think the fact that Fisk is going through the BB report, it's literally like him going into a direct line into the streets of the city. Like that's why I took that.
Yeah.
And so by him doing that, he's
not the New York Examiner.
Correct. Oh yeah, exactly. He's releasing all that information, and I think that's a sign for Gallo to be like, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah,
these statements were made, recorded, and here they are.
And I think also part of it is we may see a point where Fisk basically just says to the police commissioner, "The gloves are off. Go after the vigilantes." Like gives them essentially green light.
Yeah,
green light.
Shoot to kill.
Whatever happens, you know.
But the funny thing is, they literally in the court scenes they went through files of police officers saying that if it wasn't for White Tiger, I would have been dead. Like, one after another.
I know.
And so I feel like that splits the police force.
I think it does. Yeah, and they showed that. I think you saw some cops who are angry, some who are like resonating with the White Tiger.
Yeah.
I think it does, but I think there is something to, can Fisk win over Gallo without having a bribe? Like, is there going to be a scene where Gallo says, "You don't need to threaten me with my son. I respect you now. I know what you're about." You know, I feel like, again, I feel like I said this last week. I think there's going to be some sort of time of peace in New York City before there's the critical moment where Fisk either has to completely stay, you know, I don't want to say good, but anti-hero, or if he just turns back to the dark side.
Yeah, it's funny you say a time of peace, and then literally like the last 3 seconds of the show, there's anything but peace coming, is what it feels like.
Yeah,
so, especially with who's introduced.
Well, you know, to get peace, you have to take extreme measures sometimes.
Yeah, well, something like that.
But anyways, it's just a theory of mine. Like, it seems like
I like it. Yeah.
It seems like they're working that kind of angle. So, anything else on Fisk?
I mean. No, I don't mean he's a rock star.
I did like how he was, that moment where, you know, you see the coverage of the court case, and he's just watching the TV, and it's, again, his face.
Yep.
And he's so frustrated. He says, "Daniel, call your friend at the BB report." And it's just, I don't know, that scene was just cool.
Yeah.
My boy Daniel. Anytime my boy Daniel can do anything, I'm like,
get him involved.
Yeah, get him involved. Get him involved. All right. What else? Fisk? Anything else to Fisk? Vanessa?
We're good with Fisk.
Good with Fisk.
Vanessa, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the court case.
Yeah, courtroom. Full blown. You said Law and Order. That literally. Yeah. So the moment that Matt decides to bring up White Tiger, I mentioned briefly that like this is one of the things I didn't like.
Okay.
It's true. I was with the judge every time when they went back to the chambers, and the judge was like, "I sat here while you lectured me, you yelled at me, like you were very adamant about not using the White Tiger, only to bring it up." I was like, "Yeah, you're right, Judge. Yeah, like you shouldn't have done that." Like I feel like that was a very questionable character decision by Matt.
Yeah, well, it's tough. It's frustrating though, because the moment that gets us there, what you skipped over, is
Nikki Torres.
Yes.
Yeah. So Nikki Torres. So first of all, the way we get Nikki Torres to the courtroom was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. A little sleight of hand there.
But then Nikki, clearly somebody got to him. Somebody else got to him.
I don't know if somebody got to him.
I think it was just the police staring at him.
I think that's what it was. I think it was literally he saw all those police officers out there, and I think it was one of those moments where you're supposed to feel Nikki's fear for the police force at that moment, because of his interactions with the police force. Because he just got roughed up. Obviously, his relationship as a confidential informant was not like that positive, but it definitely seemed like he was petrified of.
Oh yeah, he was scared in that courtroom for sure.
And like the way they were looking at him was just like, you know,
I'm gonna kill you. You say something, I'm gonna kill you.
Essentially,
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what forced Matt's hand. Now, in light of that, do we still think Matt, like what you said about him's true earlier? Or
I mean, kind of. I mean, a little bit as far as the profession as a lawyer goes. But I get it. Like the case alone, like with White Tiger and Hector Ayala, it's literally like Matt dealing with himself. Like it's all of the narrative here. Like Matt's not on trial to get White Tiger off. He's on trial because he's Daredevil, and he needs some closure as can I do good as a lawyer in order to outside of the mask. And I think
a way of getting White Tiger off is also a way of if he gets him off, it's a way of distancing himself from it, because it's putting somebody out there who can do good outside of the law, so he doesn't have to. In a way,
I kind of looked at it another way. I kind of looked at it whereas if Matt was able to do good by Hector the White Tiger, he could see himself like, okay, well then I can continue to do good for the city, and I don't need to go back to being Daredevil.
Well, yes, I do think there's that side, but I think it's also like a secondary benefit is the idea that if he gets Hector off, even though he's like essentially you can't be White Tiger anymore, I think he also knows like at some point he's never going to stop being White Tiger.
Yeah.
Because he even said, like, I think he brings it up, like, it is who he is. Like White Tiger, I think literally brings up in this like it is him. Like,
Yeah.
And I think that's he's saying that to
whether he's wearing the mask or not. It's this is just what he does.
Yes. It's the same thing with Matt Murdock. It's not like he is Daredevil whether he's wearing the suit or not.
It goes back to the old for Batman, the mask is Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
That's what it goes back to.
Yes.
Matt Murdock is the mask.
But I do think he would feel some relief knowing that there's someone out there who can do that work outside of the law.
Yes.
So he doesn't feel like seeing things being, outside of the law won't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but here's the dark theory I have. Ready? Was Murdoch just, testing his own theory about let me expose a different vigilante, see how long they survive, to see if I was ever exposed?
Yeah.
Because, I'm just kidding. He probably didn't have this theory.
That does not sound like
he definitely, let's be honest, I'm totally kidding, kidding. He definitely thought, obviously, he's White Tiger, he's going to have the amulet, he'll be safe. But, he didn't even get seemingly one more night of action in.
See, that's the thing, though. Like, when I saw he not guilty, right?
Right.
And then I feel like it was seconds later, he's already putting on the suit. Like, I'm like, you got to let that breathe a little bit.
Yeah,
you really got to let that settle down.
I do think he definitely did a disservice to himself.
You're just accused of killing a cop.
But which would have been interesting, like, would he have been able to live longer if he just lived his life as Hector Ayala for a while?
What he should have done is put the suit on and then sit in front of his house because I feel like they were coming for him. Like I feel like he could have waited.
Yeah, that would have been a cool scene if he just had it and he just seemed like flip out a lawn chair.
Yeah, like would this
just sits?
Would he have been crossed off if he never put the suit back on?
Yeah,
is that what you're getting at?
Sort of or if they would have been as aggressive about eliminating him if he had never taken up the mantle again.
Yeah.
Because it also is possible that they were just going to come at him no matter what he did, because it did seem like the section of the police force that is quite corrupt.
Yeah. So for me, the sequence, right? The last everything.
Yeah.
He's putting on the suit. It's cool little slow mo music. Like they got a whole vibe going.
Yeah.
The vibe for me that I was getting was not one of this is the end. For the vibe that I was kind of getting, and I might be wrong in this. I might be in the minority in this, but the vibe I was getting was he is going to put on the suit, be himself, save a person, and then we'll see it was all for good. Like the reason that this all happened was for that happy ending, for Hector to be able to be himself, that kind of thing. That's how I kind of saw it. And then all of a sudden, he walks, runs towards a screaming woman and literally gets shot in the head.
Once again, that's why I'm bringing it up. Like, what if that scene was put in there afterwards? Like, maybe they were maybe Marvel was like, we don't really want to recast him, so we're gonna put this scene in here, end his story, and have it end kind of at this moment tragically, and have it be kind of the end, rounding out his story.
So were you feeling the same vibes that I was thinking, or were you thinking doom and gloom? What were you?
I was not necessarily thinking doom and gloom.
Okay.
But like I said, I feel like, and maybe it's just my own prejudice looking back on it, I feel like that scene didn't the final scene didn't quite mesh with what they were showing before. It just didn't have the.
You feel that way too?
It felt a little disjointed.
Okay,
I will admit. Yeah.
So maybe it's just. Maybe it's just because of what I saw on screen and knowing that he passed away. Maybe I'm drawing lines where there aren't lines.
I think wasn't Fisk's BB report interview playing while this scene was happening?
Yes.
Okay. I think that helped
with the music.
Yeah, I think it all helped, but I almost was wondering okay, is this Hector won this case, he's free, and now he's coming out as the vigilante, in a sense where he's I feel safe to do this now. Yeah. But clearly he's not,
right?
Or are they just trying to show the idea of showing what is true about Matthew Murdock is once again that we were kind of getting at. You can never take off the suit. Is it that thing? No matter how much in that moment Hector may have wanted to give up being White Tiger, or like, it is who he is. And same thing, like kind of like that's what it is with Matthew Murdock. No matter how much he wants to take off the suit, there's no way to take it off.
It's gotta be there, yeah. Like you need it. Yeah, like so. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like the Shimano. I also thought when the trigger was pulled, I thought it was just going to be the police. Like I thought they were.
Same.
I
thought
like,
we didn't even talk about this yet.
Yeah, this is where here he goes.
It is.
I'm laying down the runway here. Okay, so yeah, he gets shot, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's a police. I think it's a police because they were against it.
Yeah.
They think he killed the cop, and then like he walks towards the camera and the Punisher logo, and I was like, wait.
Okay,
I literally was like, wait, what? How? Why?
What I think it is, I think police officers are running around with their own Punisher element, and it is not the actual Punisher.
So this is not Frank Castle, you're saying?
I'm going to say this is not Frank Castle.
I'm with the motto.
Okay.
I think what this is like a rogue sect of the NYPD, and
We've seen the tattoos.
We've seen the
Multiple
tattoos. There was the big mural that was up.
Yep.
Like that. I think there's like a sliver of the NYPD that has seen what Frank Castle has done, and are taking on his logo and his kind of like his drive,
justice, yeah.
like, and twisting it in a
They're extremists.
Yes, they're twisting the way that he doesn't. They don't have like the moral character that kind of drives Frank Castle. They just have the brutality that also drives Frank Castle, in a lot of ways.
Sure,
but like like he has a very like moral like compass. Like it's he's one of those. That's what makes him a great anti-hero, is that he is simultaneously insanely brutal, but also has a moral compass.
A cause, yeah. So two things. One, that mural you talked about, it was really cool. Punisher's logo, but then they had the New York City skyline at the very bottom, like in it by his teeth. Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Second thing, I think it's weird that you two picked up on that. Like it's the police officer, which it probably is. But I was like, wait a minute, that Frank Castle's doing this?
Well, don't get me wrong. My first thought was like, whoa, Punisher. And then I was like,
but to this moment right now, I still think it is Frank Castle. And
really? Okay.
And I'm trying to
maybe he got like
I'm trying to wrap my head around why it would be Frank, because I mean the way that he does justice, that he does justice, the only thing I can think of was like he thinks that he really did kill the police officer, and therefore he took him out. But then again, if it's not Frank Castle, it would make sense that they're just like running around using. But
like Frank has a
logo.
He has a relationship with Matthew Murdock.
True.
So why would he think that someone that Matthew Murdock was defending? He's aware of like Matthew Murdock's moral compass himself.
Yeah.
Why would he be like, yeah, the dude that that he defended that hard is,
and like they could have been purposely leaving it veiled who it is, but it's like I feel like if they wanted you to know it was Frank, they would have showed you that it was Frank.
Yes.
Okay.
Why would they not?
Man, they just did it perfect. Like the emblem on the chest and the bulletproof vest. Like they did it perfect.
Yeah.
So I feel like the tattoos have been off, like slightly. Like they've been Punisher logo adjacent. Like not quite the same.
Yeah.
Now go ahead.
Which I think is like part of the reason is like they are supposed to look like Punisher, but not actually.
But then why would his body armor after he shoots the guy look exactly like the Punisher's?
Because they're just they're playing the part. Like he is, like they are that sect. And what I would
love to see if it is him or it's not him.
What I would love to see at some point is, and I know this may sound bad, but like they have like a meeting of these Punishers who are like these Punisher cops, and just see Frank just
destroy him,
just bulldoze his way through a meeting of him. Like just like when he finds these like false prophets. Essentially,
he's going to take out every single cop wearing a tattoo. I promise you that.
Yeah,
like the dude had on his neck. What are you doing?
Yeah,
well, come on.
Oh, what I would love is like if he's like cuts them out of their skin,
dude.
Or like.
Golly.
Or like the one
scalps, like
or like the guy who has it on his arm, he like cuts off his arm and like gives it to like they start like showing up like
tattoo removal service,
or maybe if they do like the Punisher like the Punisher cop meeting, and like he just starts like every day like they open up a package and there's just like another one of their members like like arms or whatever has the tattoo
What's in the box,
on it.
Shimano?
Essentially, yeah. And he's just like delivering them to them, and as they get more and more paranoid, that'll be phenomenal.
I will say it's ironic to me, and not that the NYPD and Fisk, they're not aligned yet, but it is. I think the irony of like Fisk giving this big speech about vigilantes, and then literally potentially an NYPD officer being a vigilante.
Yeah.
Or they're just trying to like set up Daredevil, or not Daredevil, Frank Castle. Like they're trying to set him up. Like maybe they're like, we can use his logo to
blame it on him,
but then still get our outcome that we want.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there was even that one cop who was who, when he finds out that Nikki Torres is potentially going to be
a witness.
A witness. Mm-hmm. He like turns to like another cop. And he's like, he
can't testify.
Yeah. Like obviously
that was the neck tattoo guy. Yeah.
Yep.
And like I just
Cody
think
Rhodes.
I think right now they're just like really playing into the fact that there is like this sliver of the NYPD that is there. I almost think like how cool would it be if we get to see a like a scene where it's like the good cops versus the bad cops, like in a moment where like maybe you see.
I think we'll get that. To be honest,
like I think it'll be super cool to see. Maybe it's like the commissioner and like. Maybe you see Kingpin fighting on the side of the quote unquote bad cops in a moment where he like maybe even he doesn't know that he's fighting for the bad cops.
I have a feeling we're not going to see Kingpin fight at all. Just to let you know.
It's very possible. It's very possible. But I would love to see almost like a scene from like Dark Knight Rises.
Where like just thinking that. You said that. I was just thinking that.
Like when they
like the war scene.
That is one of my favorite. Like I love like that scene where the police officers stand up and just like when they go up against Bane's army, it's like that scene gets me like that is like just like that idea. I would love to see just a scene where like
the music's going. It's great.
Maybe there's just like a scene where like all of a sudden like there's a line with the bad cops, and then you see a line of good cops, and Murdoch is he's Daredevil, fighting alongside the quote unquote good cops.
That's good, man. This is a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, again, First three episodes, bangers.
Yes, I agree.
Justin?
Dude,
say it.
Marvel back, baby. Let's go.
See, okay, so I do think one thing that is interesting is like most of the entities that are right now, like that are rocking it, are entities that were not original Disney properties. Like in the sense of like production wise.
Yeah.
Like you got Daredevil originally from the Netflix. Like you're talking about, okay, so what is the most recent movie to do well? Deadpool and Wolverine, which is based off of two characters who were not originally in the MCU, and then you got like it does seem like the strongest entities right now are things that they're pulling in instead of entities that they've created themselves.
Speaking of pulling in, the Daredevil's girlfriend, the therapist.
Yes,
she is also in Acolyte.
Oh yeah,
she is the witch that is the.
Bro, we're not supposed to talk about that.
One of the mothers.
Oh yeah, oh, probably the annoying mother.
Yes, the mean one.
Yes.
Wow,
that's who she is.
Way to just end the pod.
Yeah, just vibe that down.
Yeah,
down vibe.
Definitely. Definitely the weaker of the two mothers.
That shout out to Acolyte there was for Chuck. Just to let you guys know. So, anyway,
that's good. That's good.
We appreciate you guys.
That's good. Yeah, well, to your point, Shimano, I don't know if it has so much to do with the fact that they're outsiders of the MCU as much as, maybe this show already has built-in credibility because it has actors that have done it, right?
And I think it is part of, like, there is...
Same with Deadpool and Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, too.
I do think it could just be something as simple as these actors had to fight for these roles. Like, to get these guys back on networks. So they have a little more steel in their blood to like for their connection. Although anything with Wolverine in it has done well, and anything with Deadpool and has done well. Like, I think the idea they had to fight to get themselves, like Deadpool had to fight so hard to get on screen at all.
Right.
First of all, but then like fighting to get into the MCU. Yeah. And then you have how hard they had to fight to get Daredevil.
Same with Daredevil being a Netflix show. Even harder, really.
Yeah, like it was. Yeah, that's even harder.
Yeah, they couldn't use the character of Daredevil unless they were associated with MCU in the first place. So like you're right. It's a passion project. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think to the nature of the show, it's like a lot of the Disney. It's a clear, just different vibe. A lot of the Disney shows, the Disney series. I'm not just trying to make a blanket statement that they all suck. What I'm trying to say is
they're a little like
vibe
light.
Yes,
like
yes.
they're not made to be like gritty.
Yes.
But I also do think like Daredevil is a great character to have on a TV show because just in the general idea of when you think of scale, because like your big time heroes, your Thors, like they're fighting in these galactic universal combats, whereas a character like which those things loan themselves to like the big screen, whereas Daredevil, like his entire world is almost encapsulated inside of one part of one city. So like the idea of it being on the small screen makes sense. It almost feels cozy in a TV format.
Yeah.
Which makes all the sense in the world for him to be on a TV show. And like being on the small screen actually makes a whole lot of sense for his character to exist and work in that realm.
That's good.
Daredevil. What a good show so far.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the rest
Trying
of it.
to feel how to end this podcast. Maybe I'll just end it cold.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Marvel's back, according to Justin. Marvel is back. Well, we will be back next week to review episode 4 of Daredevil, so be sure to return to the Royal Geek podcast for that. And one last reminder, share this podcast with your friends, subscribe wherever you listen, and yeah, we want to thank you so much. With all that in mind, for my good friends Sandy and Shamato, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek podcast. We will see you next time, you peasants.